guys, welcome back here to the Fishing Teacher. Appreciate you guys coming by the channel to check out today's episode. And guys, at the time of filming this video, we're getting like in the third week of March, and spawning season is right upon us. Most places in the country, if they're not doing it already, they're going to be spawning within the next month or so. So I want to have a little conversation and just talk a little bit about, is it okay to fish for spawning fish? I've got a lot of opinions on this, going to get it in, give you guys my opinions on it, and curious to get your guys' feedback as well, so we'll get into that today. Also, guys, if you do like the Fishing Teacher, what we teach here, and you're getting something out of the tips, man, the best way that you can do to show support for the channel is just use and bookmark my Tackle Warehouse link in the description of every video. If you're watching it on the TV, my YouTube videos, you can't go to that link, but if you use your phone or your computer, you can actually go to that link, the Tackle Warehouse link, and by using and bookmarking that link for your tackle purchases, anytime you buy something, the channel gets a small percentage of a commission on whatever you buy. So much appreciated to everybody that's been doing that. Thank you for me and my family for that. Okay, guys, this is sort of a controversial topic. I got a lot of opinions on it, and I don't do a lot of videos like this on the Fishing Teacher. Most of them are more just technique videos, but I really thought it was important to do this simply because we're coming up on the spawning season here. Now, first of all, I am definitely not a hypocrite when it comes to the spawning season, because I have fished for spawning fish my entire life being a tournament angler, because we don't have any determination on where our tournaments are at. And sometimes, we have tournaments right on top of the spawn, and I can't undermine my own tournament success by not fishing for one if I see it. So from that standpoint, I've been part of the problem too. But in my own fishing, and I'm not telling anyone how, the techniques they need to fish, but I don't go look for those bedding fish. So let's say, for example, if a lot of the fish are bedding, I try to find something different. Like I'll try to find maybe some pre-spawn areas, or fish that are out a little bit deeper, or fish that I can't see. But rarely, if almost never, I will like go down the bank looking for bedding fish and try to catch them. Now, if I'm working down a bank, say I'm fishing a row of boat docks or something, and I see a 4-pounder bedding behind a boat dock and I'm in a tournament, yeah, I'm going to try to catch it. So tournament's a little bit different than just like regular fun fishing. Now, here's sort of my opinion on it. It's like, I think that, and I don't think anybody could disagree with this. I think from a conservation standpoint, it's good to leave them alone. So if I'm out fun fishing and I'm not fishing a tournament and I see fish on the beds, I love to watch them, but I don't mess with them. I want them to spawn undisturbed, because I want their eggs to be successful. I want a good hatch to come out from it. So I don't want to do anything that is going to disturb that if I'm fishing for fun. So that's just my point of view on that. A lot of people don't see any problems with that. And I know a lot of people, guys, there's been some like old guys back in Joplin, Missouri, I grew up with, like in my bass club days. They would purposely go fishing during the spawning season, like especially at night, so the fish were a lot easier to catch, and they'd flay them all out, which was a terrible conservation, effort. So, if you're a fish eater and you want to eat fish, man, I would just highly encourage everybody, guys, just take a couple week break from it, man. Just let those fish spawn undisturbed, because if you like to eat bass or to eat fish, it's only going to benefit yourself down the road 2 or 3 years from now. If you let them spawn undisturbed, you're going to have more bass to catch. So that's, from that standpoint, it's really, really important to remember. People go back and forth on that. This has been a debate that has been going on forever. But ultimately, from my opinion on the thing, it's just like, let them spawn if they can. I mean, don't try to do anything to interrupt the cycle. Okay, now let me give you a few tips and advice on catching bass during the spawn, on how you can catch bass and not necessarily fish for visible bedding fish. Because one thing to remember, it's like all the bass don't bed at the same time on the lake. They bed incrementally. You may have some fish, like for example, like in my home lake at Table Rock Lake here, you may have some fish spawning early in the year, like, late March, early April, like maybe 10% of them. And then you may have, like, once that first full moon in April rolls around, in the mid part of the April, you may have 50-60% of the fish spawning during 1 week. And then you may have some late spawners. So they all spawn differently, which allows you to fish different techniques. So here's my approach, and here's some advice I'll give you. Number one, if you don't want to fish for spawning fish visually, go to the dirty water part of the lake where you can't see them. I'm not saying they aren't spawning up there, but you can't see them. So you're still going to be catching some of those fish that are mixed pre-spawn, spawn, and post-spawn in that dirtier water. But if you are in an area that has clear water and you can see fish bedding out there, one of my favorite ways to catch bass in this situation is I throw like a shaky head or a Ned rig deeper out away from the beds. So let's say, for example, you know, at Table Rock Lake, a lot of the bass will bed there between 2 to 5 foot deep. One of my favorite techniques to catch fish during that time frame is I'll back out to like 15 or 20 foot deep, and I'll fish just 15 or 20 foot of water. I might be able to look over to my left and see fish on a bed up on the bank there, but I'm fishing 15 or 20 foot deep. And in that clear water of Table Rock, I catch a lot of fish doing that. And I'll catch a lot of fish maybe fishing some secondary points with like a shaky head or a football head jig or something, while some of the bass are spawning up front. Another way you can catch them there is like you can catch what I call the roamers and the cruisers. Now the roamers and the cruisers are bass that are up shallow, but they're not spawning. They may be looking for beds or whatever, but you can catch those roamers like on a floating worm or a fluke is a really good way to catch them. So if you got a lot of fish on the bed and you don't want to fish for them, get your floating worm out, your fluke out, your shaky head, your football head jig, and either fish shallow with the floating worm and the fluke, just, you know, fan casting down the bank, or move out a little bit deeper, and, you know, then you can still catch fish and not have to, and let those active spawning fish do their thing there. And if you do catch one, guys, that say, for example, and I know how irresistible, guys, it's fun catching fish off a bed. I'm not going to lie to you. It's like if I see if there's a fish in 3 foot of water and it's clear, and you pitch a Texas rig worm up there and watch the fish go down on it and eat it, and then you set the hook and you watch the fish move, and you're not used to seeing that. You're not used to seeing what it looks like to set the hook and see a fish move with it. It's fun. Don't get me wrong, but it's sort of one of those things that there's a lot of things that are fun, but they may not be good for you in life. It's sort of one of those deals. But if you do that, man, just try to release that fish. Put them back in there as quick as possible. You had your fun. Let them spawn. Most of the time, they'll go right back on the bed, and it's just better conservation efforts down the road there. So, anyway, guys, hope that helps out there. Just wanted to share that with you. We'll talk later.